This is Masinloc School on the Air in collaboration with Servicion Putog Radio, DWSP 101.5 News FM. Our teacher broadcaster for this hour, Teacher Edlin Elani de la Cruz of Bamban National High School. This is another learning episode in Science 10.
Good day, Masinloc Zambales. Good day to our active learners from grade 10. Welcome to another day of discovering new things as we explore the world of science. This is Teacher Edlin Ilani de la Cruz from Bamban National High School, your own air facilitator for today. Join me in another episode of Learning Chemistry as we discover and learn the occurrence of chemical reactions. Since we will investigate and study chemical reactions, I want you to make yourself ready and remember the following. D. Choose a comfortable place where you can study and properly listen to our broadcast. H. Have your pen, notebook, and Module 3 in Science entitled Chemical Reactions. E. Enjoy as you participate in every given activities. M. Make sure to be focused at all times. L. List down important ideas and concepts about the lesson. R. Relax. Chemical reactions is part of our lives, so we have to discover more about it. X. Extra patience is important attitude of a scientist. And N. Never say I can't. Just believe in yourself and you can do it. Are you ready? Let's start. At the end of the module, you are expected to 1. Identify chemical change. 2. Classify reactions according to the different types. 3. Write chemical equations. And the last one, apply the principles of conservation of mass to chemical reactions. Before we go deeper, it is important that we are familiar with the symbol of the different elements. Let's see if you can still remember the symbols of the elements. Inside the bags are the elements and compounds that we encounter every day. All you have to do is to write in your notebook the symbol or formula of the given elements and compounds. Number 1, water. Number 2, table salt. Number 3, coal. Number 4, copper. Number 5, carbon dioxide. Number 6, iron. Number 7, baking soda. Number 8, potassium. Number 9, helium. And number 10, vinegar. Now, let us check your answer. Congratulations! You are now ready to learn new knowledge and understanding about chemistry. Change is the only permanent thing in the world. Changes in matter can either be physical or chemical. Physical change occurs when the appearance of an object is altered without forming a new type of substance. Chemical change involves a transformation of one substance into a new type by altering its chemical composition. In your grade 9 science, you have learned that chemical bonding includes breaking up bonds and the formation of new bonds. When new bonds are formed, new substances are also produced. These processes of bond breakage and formation cause atoms to rearrange themselves throughout chemical changes in matter. Let's try to answer Activity 1 entitled Physical or Chemical Change. All you have to do is to classify the following processes into physical or chemical change. I will give you 3 seconds to answer the following. Number 1, burning of paper. The answer is chemical change. Number 2, washing of plates. The answer is physical change. Number 3, lids in a compost pit. The answer is chemical change. Number 4, ripening of fruits. The answer is chemical change. And number 5, leftover food in the trash bin. The answer is chemical change. Well done, dear learners! Now let us perform Activity 2, exploring the evidence of chemical reactions. In this activity, make sure that we have the following materials: bleaching agent, matchsticks, colored paper, piece of paper, Mentos candy, and soft drink. Let's start. Place a piece of colored paper in a pan, then pour a drop of bleaching agent into it. Observe what will happen. Open the soft drinks, then put the Mentos inside the bottle. Observe what happens. Get a piece of paper and light it up using the matchstick. Let us discuss what you have observed. What happened to the colored paper? Very good. The colored paper changed in color. Next, what is formed in a Coke after polluting the metals? Excellent. A rising bubble was formed after we dropped a Mentos into it. What is formed when you lit the paper? Good. The piece of paper burned and changed in color. All these examples can be classified as chemical change. Chemical change is caused by chemical reactions. Though reactions occur at microscopic level, there are still some observations or physical changes which can be used as indicators that chemical reactions are happening. These are things that will help us to identify if a certain substance undergoes a chemical reaction, and we call it evidences of chemical reaction. The evidences are production of light, evolution of gas, temperature change, change in intrinsic properties such as color and odor, and formation of precipitate. Chemical reactions are observed with the combination of the 5 evidences. Fire was the greatest discovery of all time. The earliest people considered it as one of the earliest elements. George Stahl stated that when a material burns, it releases a substances known as phlogiston, and he called it a phlogiston theory. Anton Lavoisier contradicts this theory as he carefully observed in his experiment that instead of releasing a substance, the material being burned reacts with oxygen. This is now known as the theory of oxidation, and this is accepted up to this day. There are 3 factors that should be present in proper conditions and proportions for burning to occur. These are 1. Fuel, 2. Oxygen, and number 3. Heat. Chemical reactions create new substances. Chemical equation describes chemical reactions by identifying the reactants and the products. It also uses symbols and formulas of substances involved in the chemical reaction. Chemical equation shows the symbol or formulas of the reactants and products, the phases of these substances, and the ratio of the substances as they react. In writing chemical equations, you should know the common symbols needed in writing the equations. These are the symbols. It shows a combination of reactants or the products. It means to produce, to form, or to yield. The S means solid, L for liquid, G for gas, and this one is for aqueous solution, by which these are the substances that dissolve in water. It means reversible reaction. It indicates that heat is supplied to the reaction. A formula written above or below the equation means yield sign and indicates its use as a catalyst or solvent. Chemical reactions always has its 2 parts, the reactant and the product. Substances that undergo chemical changes is called reactant, while the new type of substances formed is product. Let us consider this example. Hydrogen gas reacts with the oxygen gas will produce water. This part serves as the reactant and this part serves as the product. There are different types of chemical reactions. These are the combination, decomposition, single displacement, double displacement, combustion, and acid-base reaction. Let us discuss it one by one. Combination or synthesis reaction is when two or more reactants combine to form a single product. A reacts with B will produce AB. Now, let us use the following as an example for combination reaction. Copper reacts with oxygen gas will produce copper oxide. Another example is when magnesium reacts with oxygen gas will produce magnesium oxide. Number 2, decomposition reaction. Decomposition reaction is a single reactant breaks down into simpler ones. AB will produce A and B. Let us consider the following as an example. Mercuric oxide will produce mercury and oxygen gas. Another example is that calcium carbonate will produce calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. Number 3, single displacement or replacement reaction. Single displacement reaction is when one element replaces another element from a compound. The more active element takes the place of the less reactive element in a compound. A plus BC will produce AC plus B. Let us use the following as an example. Zinc reacts with iron sulfate will produce zinc sulfate and iron. Another example, sodium reacts with water will produce sodium hydroxide and hydrogen gas. Number 4, double displacement reaction. Double displacement reaction is when the positive ions or the cations and negative ions, which is also known as the anions of different compounds, switch places, forming two entirely different compounds. AB plus CD will produce AD and CB. Let us have the following as an example. Calcium nitrate and sodium hydroxide will produce sodium nitrate and calcium hydroxide. Another example, potassium chloride and lead nitrate will produce lead chloride and potassium nitrate. Number 5, combustion or burning reaction. Combustion reaction is when oxygen combines with a hydrocarbon to form water and carbon dioxide. Example of which is the burning of butane gas. Methane reacts with oxygen gas will produce carbon dioxide and water. Number 6, acid-base reaction. Acid-base reaction is a special kind of double displacement reaction that takes place when an acid and base react with each other. Example, hydrochloric acid reacts with sodium hydroxide will produce sodium chloride, and water. It is not only important that we know the product of the given reactant. Always remember that a chemical equation must correctly balance. But the question is, how to balance a chemical reaction? During a chemical reaction, matter is neither created nor destroyed. Atoms of the substance undergoing reaction simply rearrange themselves, thus, matter is said to be conserved. This concept is known as the law of conservation of mass. Balancing chemical equation is done to obey the law of conservation of mass. Balanced equations depict the number of atoms on the reactant side is equal to the number of atoms on the product side. Generally, making the atoms at both sides of the equation is done by putting coefficients before the symbol or formula of the substances present in the equation. To balance the chemical equation, we have to perform the following steps. Number 1, rewrite the unbalanced chemical equation. Make a list of all the elements on the reactant side and the product side. Identify the atoms in each element. Multiply the number of atoms. Observe the element whose atom is not equal. Place a coefficient in front of the equation. Check your equation. If it is not balanced, rework your multiplication. Balanced chemical equation. Now, let us measure your understanding and knowledge about chemical reactions. Listed below are examples of chemical reactions. All you have to do is to identify the type of reaction present and balance the reaction. Number 1, hydrogen gas reacts with nitrogen gas will produce ammonia. Number 2, hydrogen bromide and aluminum hydroxide will produce aluminum bromide and water. Number 3, potassium perchlorate will produce potassium chloride and oxygen gas. Propionaldehyde and oxygen gas will produce carbon dioxide and water. And number 5, silver nitrate reacts with copper will produce copper nitrate and silver. How's your score, dear learners? Always remember that you are doing great in everything that you do. Always bear in mind that there are better things than getting high scores. What important is you learn from your mistakes and become a better learner at the end. Your science teacher will wait for your output. Our dear parents, guardians, and learning facilitators, your guidance can make a difference on how well your children can accomplish the learning task. Kindly provide them assistance. Thank you for your support to possibly accomplish the task and for gradually helping them to become independent learners. If you have questions, just message your science teacher where they can help you to be enlightened in the parts that you have doubts and difficulties. You can do it, learners. Let us help each other to make this new normal education successful. Once again, this is your own air teacher, Ma'am Edlin Ilani de la Cruz of Bamban National High School. Thank you and have a good day.